Now, it is a pretty popular opinion that PXG will win against Bastard in the final match of the Neo Egoist League, and it makes sense why a lot of people think that PXG has no chance of losing this match. Since they have extremely strong players, having Rin, who has consistently been shown to be the #1 and best player in Blue Lock, plus spoilers for Chapter 239, even scoring a hat trick against Munchen, Shidou, who's been shown as the second best player in Blue Lock, plus Karasu Sentetsu and Tokimitsu, who have been shown as top players during different selections. On paper, this team should be near impossible to beat, but Izaki has been showing extreme development in the Neo Egoist League as a player, especially after unlocking Metavision as an ability in Munchen. Izaki has been playing so well that he was able to take down Munchen as a team, score 2 goals in the Ubers match, defeat Baru, and outscore Kaiser, a new Gen 11 player. And because of all these feats, there has been a debate going on if Izaki is growing just a bit too fast at this point. Since in this arc, it does seem like the author sped up Izaki's development as a player faster than people were expecting. Since that's not to say Izaki hasn't been working hard, but where Izaki was when he entered this arc and where he is now are day and night. But Chapter 239 with Rin's hat trick has directly shown us where Izaki is at in comparison to him, which is Rin is ahead by quite a bit. So that should mean that PXG will win. But I don't know if that's the direction the author wants to take this match. So in this video, I wanted to theorize why despite all the things I just discussed, PXG could lose and the narrative story that the author could want to end this arc on, which will result in a loss for PXG. So I first thought about the fact that PXG could lose when I thought about the question of what is the main purpose for Izaki in this arc. And of course, the first obvious answer is so he can grow as a player. From Metavision to his lefty shot, Izaki is learning a lot very quickly. But another aspect of the NEL that I see developing is that Izaki is taking down all his past rivals one by one and surpassing them. For so long in Blue Lock, Izaki was talked down to by players such as Nagi and Baru for not being as good as them in the sport, since basically all of the first to third selection is people telling Izaki he isn't good enough and him having to fight to prove them wrong. So I think the Neo Egoist League is about Izaki finally surpassing his rivals and taking them down one by one. First, we started with Bachira, who was defeated. Then we moved on to Nagi, who was defeated next. Baru was the latest person he defeated, and now Rin is the only one left. So I am thinking that the author wants to end Izaki and Rin's rivalry in the PXG match and have Izaki finally beat him. So I think the ultimate goal of the Neo Egoist League arc is for Izaki to face all his past rivals, beat them, so he could come out as the best new player in the arc. But why would I think this, and why now? Why would the author have Izaki become the #1 player of Blue Lock after the Neo Egoist League arc? Well, since the beginning of Blue Lock, we were told that one person would be left standing in Blue Lock and become the ultimate striker for Japan. And we literally see a figure that looks like Izaki standing on top of 299 other bodies. Now, people might think of this as the metaphorical ending for Blue Lock, the series, since we know that more than likely, by the end of the manga, Izaki will be the best striker in the world. But no, this is the ending of the Blue Lock project, since it's not Izaki standing on top of the world or holding a World Cup trophy that we see in this image. It's the ending of the Blue Lock project, and the Neo Egoist League is the final selection of the Blue Lock project to decide who will be on the U20 Japan team. So that means if the author is sticking to what he told readers all the way back in the first chapter, then this will be the ending of the Neo Egoist League, with Izaki as the official victor of Blue Lock, and his reward is being the main striker for the U20 Japan team. Since while yes, plans slightly shifted because Ego got control of the whole U20 Japan team instead of just a few spots like we were told in the beginning, the ultimate goal of Ego and this project was to make the next greatest striker that will go into the World Cup and win. And this is what is at the core of the Blue Lock story. Now, some people might be thinking, well, this was written all the way back in the first chapter. If the author really wanted to, he could have Izaki continue to strive to be the striker for the U20 Japan team beyond the Blue Lock project, with possibly Rin getting the role and Izaki during the World Cup having to gain the spot. But the reason why I think the author will have the ending of the NEL be with Izaki on top goes back to what I was discussing earlier, which is that Izaki is growing so much, so fast, and taking down his rivals from the Blue Lock facility. And I think this is all because the author wants to have Izaki come out on top, so he has a clean slate going into the World Cup arc, and new rivals can be set up for Izaki, since Izaki will no longer be pinned against the Blue Lock players after this arc, since there will be no more selections and they will be working together as the U20 Japan team, meaning that Izaki's rivals will become his teammates, which is why the author is having Izaki crush these rivals one by one, since they will have to work together to defeat other teams. I'm not saying we are not going to get moments of teammates trying to devour each other and be better than each other, since it wouldn't be Blue Lock without that. But after this arc, Izaki is going to be facing the whole world in the World Cup arc, so he will have a lot of enemies, including ones we have seen in this arc. So I think we will be entering a new era of Blue Lock with all new obstacles, enemies, and abilities to unlock, since Izaki would have accomplished his goal of being the best in the Blue Lock project, since that was the first goal that Izaki was striving for. But his next goal and his ultimate goal is to be the best in the world. So basically, for Izaki to be crowned as the official last person standing in Blue Lock and quote-unquote win, he will have to go undefeated in the league as the official center of his team, meaning that PXG will have to lose. But before I end this video, let me make it clear, I want PXG to win. I don't want Bastard to go undefeated in this arc. But I am always trying to think about what makes sense narrative-wise for the Blue Lock story, and having Izaki still struggling to beat Rin by the end of the NEL and not going into the World Cup as the center of the U20 Japan team wouldn't make as much sense. I mean, it could happen, but we were told two things from the beginning of the story. Izaki would win Blue Lock and Izaki will win the World Cup. Both will happen. So with the NEL being the final selection, that could probably mean only one thing. Anyways, this is the end of my video. I do always love making theory videos, and this was a lot of fun to make. I know this might be hard to believe, especially after chapter 239, but hopefully I was able to explain my thoughts. So I'd love to hear all your guys' thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comments. I am on the road to 1K, so please subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!